Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on the Azure community on the topic of Azure AI Studio. So today we're gonna go through the basics of it and how you can get started and how you can learn further from the basics. Today we have our guest Naveen Kumar, who is a data engineer and a C Sharp Corner MVP, and he is going to take us through this topic and he is going to advise and suggest us on how we can get started and how you can grow and have a knowledge on the AI Studio. Before we get started, I just want to share that there is a certificate of participation. So to those who stay till the end, so make sure you stay till the end and fill out the form that I'll be sharing to get your certificate. And secondly, there is a recording for this session, and we'll provide the link on our YouTube channel. That's it from my side. And if you are completely new to our community, make sure you join the Discord so that you get updated upcoming sessions and connect with other peers. That's it from my side, and the stage is all to Naveen. Over to you.
Thank you, Surak. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. So before getting to the session topic, I'll get introduce myself and even Surak gave a introduction about myself. So I'll explain from the technical point of view. So myself, Naveen, I'm a data engineer and a C Sharp Corner MVP and a blogger. I used to write a technical blogs on the C Sharp Corner, Medium, on those platforms. So apart from that, I have overall 13 plus years of experience in the data domain. I handle ETL, Microsoft SQL Server, the database design, the architecturing the ETL, and when it comes to cloud, handling the ADF pipelines and the data breaks, all those stuffs. So that's a short introduction about myself. Let's get into the topic. Yeah. So in today's session, we are going to see about mastering Azure AI Studio, a guide to understand the basics. So we are going to see what is Azure AI Studio, what are the basic concepts, what is the core concepts when we want to start any new project in AI. So how we can kickstart it. So if we are strong in the foundation, the base, so we can actually do whatever we want. So that's all about this topic. Okay, so I'll move to the next slide. As an agenda, what you're going to see is an introduction to the Azure AI Studio, and let's see how the AI Studio works and what are all the core components of Azure AI Studio and the features of AI Studio. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A, and also I'll show you the demo as well at the end. Okay, good. So let's see the fundamentals of Azure AI Studio. Let's understand what is Azure AI Studio. Okay, let's take it as a simple AI Studio. What is AI Studio? Okay, so AI Studio is a unified platform that brings together various Azure AI capabilities that were previously available as a standalone services. Okay, if you see the image here, right, we have a Azure AI search service, we have a language service, the translated service, the document intelligence service, speech, content safety, vision, and open AI. So all these services are it's available as a standalone in Azure. If you go to Azure portal, when you go on, if you want to create any speech service, you have to go and create a speech service. Once you create a resource, it will take you to the speech studio. Similarly, if you want to create any search service, create a search resource, it will create a resource and then it will ask you to go to the search studio and you have to do the development on over. When you want to integrate search studio and the speech studio, so you have to, at the end, you have to link it with an endpoint and the keys. Okay, so that are two different services. When you want to combine, you have to link those two. Okay, but this AI Studio gives a platform for a developers to build a AI solution. Okay, so and right. Azure AI Studio provides a seamless experience for a developers, as I said. Okay, also a data scientist, data engineers to build, deploy, and manage AI models and applications. Okay, and with this Azure AI Studio, we can access wide range of AI capabilities like, as I said, right, we have a standalone services, so we can access all those services in one tool, okay, one development tool. Okay, so this is all about introduction of Azure AI Studio. Okay, I can take a quick example here. If I hope many of them worked on the Visual Studio, right? So when you want to work on some ETL things, you can go ahead with the SSDT tool and you will work on the ETL. And when you want to work on some .NET application, you can use a Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code or the web-based applications or any assemblies references. All those projects, it will be a one tool, right? The one tool is Visual Studio. That similar to that, Azure AI Studio is a one tool for combining all the AI related service which is there in the cloud. Okay. Now let's move into how this AI Studio works. Okay. So in AI Studio, there are two main components. We can say that hub and project. Okay. So if you want to do any development in AI Studio, you have to go through this. You have to create a hub, you have to create a project, and then you have to do all your development activities. Okay, so these two are the main components. We have a core component separately, but these two are the main. Okay, so let's understand what is hub. Okay, so hub is the top level resource in Azure AI Studio. Okay, so hub provides a collaborative workspace for AI solution development and management. Okay, you need to at least have one Azure AI hub so that you can go and create your development features and capabilities of the AI Studio. And AI Hub can host one or more projects in it. Okay, so if you want to create any project, the prerequisite is you should create a hub first, and hub can have one or more projects. Okay, and each project, what you're creating in the hub, it encapsulates the tools and assets that are used in the hub to create a specific AI solution. Okay, so basically whatever we are going to create in a project, it takes the information from the hub. Example, when you're creating a connection in hub, and using that connection, you are creating any data set in the project. So this is a simple example how we are relating the hub and the project. Okay, so let's go and see what are the features of hub and projects. Okay, so when it comes to the features of hub, where we can upload a data and artifact storage and hub scoped connections, like where we can integrate Azure OpenAI or the Azure AI services, the standalone services, or we can integrate it. And the base model endpoints, the OpenAI gives a REST API endpoints, right? So we can integrate all those things, and compute resource as well. And where we can plan a security and the governance setup in the hub itself. Okay, so when it comes to the project, so what we can do, what the features project provides. Okay, so the components like a data sets, models, indexes. Okay, so the group of components where we can handle the data sets, models, and indexes. And we can have an isolated data container within the storage, which we created in the hub. And we can have a project scope connections. So I'll create a project one and project two. The project one connection should be the scope only for the project one. I could not use it for the next other set of the project. So those kind of sets we can do it in the project scope connections. The open source model deployment from the catalog. So I can show that in while demoing that how we can take the models and deploy that. So that also we can do it in the project. And the hub level connections. So hub is like a multiple child projects. So where you can, as I said, the hub can have one or more projects, right? So that's the point here. So this is the high level features of hub and projects. So basically what we can do with the hub, okay, see this is like, so hub will have that data upload, the storage artifacts, it will go and do the security and the governance. And so basically what we can do it in the hub when it comes to the technical terms, right? So where you want to go ahead and create and assign a member to a specific rules, that you can do it in a hub. Okay, where we want to go and manage a compute instances which runs an experiments, prompt flows, or the custom codes where we are building it. So those things can handled in the hub. And where we can create and manage a connections to the resources, the Azure resources, apart from the AI related, where you want to integrate your blob storage and access some files from the blob storage, where you have the chat based instructions stored in a file where you, which you want to integrate it to your AI studio, that you can do it. Also you can connect to your GitHub repositories and access it. So those kind of things you can do. And the last one, like defining the policies to regulate the behaviors, including the shutdown, the compute resource shutdown. So it can be handled in the hub. So project, when it comes to project, the actual development, it's going to happen it in the project. So we can deploy a large models to support a chatbot, or we can build a co-pilot in it. So we want to test any models, the pre-built models available, or we want to test it in a playground. And we want to add our own data. The few minutes back I told, right, where you have a chat-based instructions in your blob storage, I want to integrate and use it. So that's my own data. I want to use it for some of the prompt-based operations. Okay, and I can construct a prompt flow to define flow that combines models, prompts, and custom codes as well. I can define that prompt flow in the project itself, and I can evaluate the model responses. So how efficient, how, what is the confidence score of that response? So I can check that in the project. And I can manage the other indexes, the data sets for the custom data. And I can integrate the Visual Studio Code to create some custom codes using the .NET application or the Python. So I can integrate it in this. And finally, where we can do all the deployment. So once my code, the project is ready, I want to deploy it as a web apps or the containerized service. So those deployments, we can do it in the project. So this is all about the functional features and at the technical level, what we can do in hub and project. Okay, so next what we are going to see is the core components of Azure AI Studio. So I'll take a pause here. If anyone has any questions, or you can just let me know, or else if we can want to take the questions at the end also, we can take it. So if I'm going fast, you want me to go slow. So any comments if you have, you can let me know. I'll take silence as no, and then I'll continue. Okay. So now let's see what are the core components of Azure AI Studio. Okay. So the core components are like a model catalog, model benchmark, prompt catalog, and Azure OpenAI and AI services. Okay. So these are all the core components. So the development activity, what we are going to do it in Azure AI Studio, it's all going to be within these components itself. Okay, now let's go and deep dive into the each components, what it will do, what we can get it in that components. Okay, so the model catalog. So the model catalog is kind of a library or a hub where we can see all the pre-built models. Okay, that will be available, like the chat gpt model we have, right, the chat gpt turbo. So we have that model available, we can take it and play with it. So it's like a hub and the hub kind of things. Okay, so it serves as a hub. Okay, and these models enables to build a generative AI applications. Okay, so using these models we are going to build some kind of a chatbots, co-pilots, or agents. So it's going to build an ethical AI solution, AI applications. Okay, and the models, right, these models will get it from Microsoft and the other third parties like Mistral, Meta, Cohere, Nvidia, and Hugging Faces. Okay, so this is all about the model catalogs. If you want to take any model, so just go to the model catalog, select the model, and we have to use it. Okay, and the next one is the model benchmark. Okay, so in the previous model catalog we selected some 2 3 models, okay, for my requirement, but I'm not sure which model I need to use it. So okay, which one model gives the efficiency good but the other model gives the confidence score good, and I'm a little confused which model to use it. So if I have such confusion, I can come to the model benchmark, and for my requirement I can select those two models and I can compare it. Okay, so this will give me the information based on the accuracy, speed, resource consumptions, everything. So we no need to go ahead with some third party tool, or we need to do some kind of research which model will be suit for my business applications. Okay, so the AI studio inbuilt comes with an best model benchmark which compares the models and gives you a solution which model we need to use. Okay, so that's all about the model benchmark. So the next one is the prompt catalog. Okay, so this prompt catalog is a predefined prompts for the common use cases like text generation, image generations. Okay, and this can be again filtered with modality, industry, and the task, which you can see it here. The modalities like the images, videos, and completions, the chat completions. Okay, and the industries. The right now this prompt supports only for retail and education, and the tasks like summarization, chat, and so on we have here. So this is a prompt catalog, and the next one is OpenAI. So this is an OpenAI. So if anyone wants to use this service in Azure AI Studio as a prerequisite, the we should have a OpenAI access. Okay, so because part of a security reason, Microsoft provides only the limited access for an OpenAI resource. So we have to get the OpenAI access to use this particular service. So this gives the REST API access for the powerful models like GPT, GPT-4 Turbo, and the embedding series as well. Okay, it can be adapted for a various tasks such as content generation, the summarization, image generation, or we can extract the content from the image, the semantic search, natural language to the code uh, translations. So all those activities can be handled in the Azure OpenAI service. The next one is the AI service. Okay, so at initially we saw, right, the standalone services like the speech, language, vision, all those services can be integrated in this AI services. When we want to use any speech or the document intelligent services, so we can come to the AI service and we can use that. So speech, language, vision, content safety, all it has inbuilt or the pre-built models available. So for example, in the document intelligence studio where you want to extract the information from the receipts, so you can take a receipts layout model and you can upload your receipts, train the model, and then you can extract the informations out of it. So similar to that, we have a language and translators as well. Okay, so developer can integrate all those standalone services. It's already inbuilt in this AI services. Okay, so this is all about the AI service. Okay, so the next one is the features. Okay, so what are the features of Azure AI Studio? Okay, so the first feature is the build your own copilot. Okay, I want to build one chat-based application for a travel agency. So I can go ahead and create in the prompt catalog. We can see the retail and industries, right? So where we can go ahead and select the options, and we can build our own Copilot model. And if you want to use any Mistral model or NVIDIA models or the Chat GPT models, we can select that. Okay. And the next feature is enable enterprise chat. Okay, the chatbots for the customer service representation, the customer responses. So that things we can, one of the feature of the Azure AI Studio. And incorporating the multimodality, the apps which is integrate with various data like text, image, videos, and audios. So the multimodality incorporation is one of the feature of the Azure AI Studio. The speech analysis, okay, where we can convert a text to speech, speech to text, and identify the tone of the speech, how it's a positive tone or a negative tone, the speech recognition. So those capabilities also can be included here. And the secure data handling, okay, the customize the model, we can fine tune with our protected data. And the contextually relevant retrieval augment generations. And the next feature is the user friendly interface. So if we don't have this Azure AI Studio, what we have to do when we want to integrate some speech service with document intelligence, and I'm going with some image generation. So I have to create three development. Okay, one with speech service, the other one with document intelligence, the other one with the image. And at the end, I need to combine everything, and I need to deploy. I need to create one kind of a framework, and then I need to deploy that model to a live. Okay, but using this AI Studio, one place where I can do all those development activities. So it's completely user friendly. You no need to have three different resources to do those operations. So one person can integrate all those things. And we have more pre-trained models, so we no need to worry. And we have a model benchmark to get the which model suits for my requirement. So these are all things, and it's scalable. So it's the production ready tool, we can say, but I'll tell you that one. It's not a production ready right now. Okay, so but it's very scalable, whatever the versions Microsoft provided. Okay. So the next one is the continuous monitoring and the governance. Okay, so we have a in the hub level, I can show that it has a policy setup and the governance, the security setup and the governance, right? So where we can go ahead and monitor all our hubs projects, what kind of a models we are using, how the deployment is going, what is the performance of our model. So everything we can manage it in that AI Studio itself. Okay, so this is all about the features. Okay, I'll take a pause and I'll just reiterate what we saw till now. Okay. First, we saw the introduction about an AI Studio, and then we saw how AI Studio works, right? The main components like Hub and Project. And then the features of Hub and Project, what we can do with Hub and what we can do with Project. And then we saw about the technical features, what we can exactly do, creating the connections, assigning the role membership. And when it comes to the project where we can create a data set, so the creating the models, deploying the models, all those things. And then we came to the core components, okay, like model catalog, model benchmark, prompt catalog, OpenAI services, and AI services. And finally, we saw the features of Azure AI Studio. Okay. So this is all about the fundamentals, the basics. So when you want to work on the Azure AI Studio, so these are all the things you might know. Okay. So this is all about the Azure AI Studio, and then we'll go to the demo part now. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. I can answer it before getting to the demo. Okay, so how we can access Azure AI Studio? First, you can go to the portal.azure.com. I hope my screen is visible. I move to the browser from the presentation.
No, actually, we are still in the presentation.
Okay, just a minute. What about now?
Yes, visible.
Okay, good. So if you want to create any AI related service or the Azure services, we'll go to the portal.azure.com. So same I can came here, the portal.azure.com, and you can search for Azure AI Studio. So where you can get Azure AI Studio, just click here. Okay, so here it will ask you to create a hub. So this is a one way. Okay, for example, one thing is so this is Microsoft Speech Studio. Okay, let it load. Okay, so where we can go ahead and sign in and we can do all our speech activities. So similarly, we have a language studio, document intelligence studio, everything. Okay, so these are all the standalone services right now. We have it. Okay, and the AI studio will be the one which is going to replace all these standalone service. Maybe in the future, we will not see these standalone services. Okay, speech can show you the language services as well. Language.cognitive services. Okay. So this will be the language service. Okay. This will be the speech. So let's get into that AI Studio. So I just selected AI Studio and I am going to create a hub now. So I'll create, I have my own subscription. I'm going to select my resource group. Now I'm going to give my hub name. Okay, so hub name I'll give demo hub 01. Okay, so while creating the hub at the back end, this AI Studio inbuilt, it creates Azure AI service model itself. So if you want, we can go ahead and use an existing one, or else we can create it by default, it will create. And the next one, it will automatically create a storage account for it. It will automatically create a key vault, and the Dockers and all, we can leave it right now by default. Networking, I'll keep it default. Encryption, no. Next, identity, no. Next, and review and create. It's the backend, it's getting reviewed, the settings, and the create button will be enabled so that we can go ahead and create the, so validation passed. I'm creating the hub. Now the initialization has been started. So it's submitting the artifacts at the backend for the deployment. So it's submitting now, and it's the deployment starts. So I think the deployment started now. So let the deployment begin. So this is one way of creating the AI Studio. The other way I can show is ai.azure.com. So ai.azure.com directly takes you to Azure AI Studio. Okay, so here you can see here, right, the model catalog, the core component which I explained, the model catalog. So where you can see all the pre-built models from Microsoft, Phi, and Llama, the Facebook, Mistral, and the Hugging Face, go here. So whatever I explained, right? So all those models we have it here. So I think right now we have 1,757 models available in this. And the model benchmark, let it get loaded. Let's go and see the deployment completed. Yes, the deployment completed now. So I'll click go to resource. So This is what I said, right? So each resource, when you create a speech service, language, document intelligence, at the end, it will give you the studio. On click this, it will take you to the studio, which I came here, right? ai.azure.com. The same studio it will open for me with the project I created, Demo Hub 01. Okay. Or else you can directly go here and you can create it. I'll show you. First, this is the model benchmark. So where you can compare the models. So it will give you based on the model accuracy, the groundness, model influency. So whichever is relevant for us, we can take and we can compare it. So here you have the list of pre-compared models for the GPT. Okay, for what is the accuracy, coherence, and groundness, everything. So here we can select the models Azure OpenAI and the Meta. If I select Azure OpenAI, so the models will be displayed from the Azure OpenAI. So you have all those things. You can play with this. And the next one is the prompt catalog. Here we can see the prompts, the pre-built prompts, image description assistant, defect detectors. So those things, those are all few models and the OpenAI models. So here you need to go and create it, and the AI services as well, the speech, language, vision, content safety. One highlight is this AI Studio comes with inbuilt content safety. So you don't need to worry about the content safety in this particular studio. And the management, you can see all your hubs, resource keys, the quota, this and all the management related things. Okay, so when you have directly coming into the AI Studio instead of portal, so you can come home and click create a new project. So on clicking the new project only, it will directly ask you to give your hub name, the same settings what we did earlier, it will come here. So I'm going to skip this now because we have already created a hub here. Now, if I refresh here, I can see my hub already, the one which I created. So it's already in the hub. Let me go and see hub here. So demo hub, which I created, I can see it here. Okay. So now let's go and create a project. So by default, it's giving the project. I'm giving a demo project 01. So I'm creating a project now. So project is getting created. So one thing I want to highlight is this Azure AI Studio, it's still in a preview mode. Okay, it's not at the production ready. So if you are looking for any production ready application needs to be built, I would suggest to take a standalone services and build. Okay, so this is still in a preview mode. If you see, most of the options are still in the preview mode, so where we can go ahead and play with it. Once Microsoft releases the stable version, and they will confirm it, and so that it can be a production ready tool. Okay, so we have created a project now. So now what we can do, right? I'll create one chat based application. So let's take a model. So what I can do, right? I'll take a ChatGPT 35 Turbo model. Okay. I'm taking this model and I'm going to deploy it. I'm going to giving a model name to my model. So I'll remove the default name, demo chat app 01. So I'm going to create a resource and deploy this model. So it's getting created. So one other quick tip I can say is Microsoft build happened few months back. So back end the services are keep on getting refreshed. So when you want to play with this AI Studio, So if you see some services today, if you are not seeing some services on the next day, it means that the backend build is Microsoft is working on the stable versions. So no need to worry about it. It will take some time to create a resource. Okay. So the deployment is created. So here I could see the endpoint and I can see the key as well. If I want to use this in some other applications where I want to use this model, so I can use this endpoint and key to connect to this model. Now I want to go and play with this model. So either here I can see a project playground. I can go with chat, or I can click here, open a playground. On clicking open a playground directly comes to this chat. So we are in a chat playground now. So here you can see the model which we deployed now, the demo chat app one using ChatGPT Turbo 3516 model, right? So here is our chat application is ready. So what we can do, right? We can give some chat here. Okay, so let's give it like your travel assistant. So user wants to plan a trip to London. Suggest a 3-day itinerary. So here, using the model which we deployed, so it's giving the 3-day itinerary for a London trip. Okay, so this is the thing. So here, the chat capabilities, if you click on the settings, so we can enable this into a speech as well. So enable text to speech. So, and then we can select a voice. So which voice we need to use it, Adam or Burden. So if I select this and if I, okay, so I'll select this and if I give another prompt, so it will give me the audio of that. Okay, so what I can give is your technical support agent. User is facing issue with the Azure subscription. Okay, they are unable to access the resources. How would you assist them? So it is giving the response. So I could hear the inbuilt voice which is explaining this. I hope I'm not sure whether you are also hearing it. I stopped it. Okay, so through this we can convert the speech to text, everything. So this is one of the features. Okay, the next one is the assistant. So assistant is similar where we can create our new assistant and chat based application. We can do that. Right now we're going to skip this and I'll show one example with the image. Okay, so what I can give here is the prompt, generate a modern and sleek logo for a tech startup named Novartex. So on click generate, it uses a DALI 2 system model. So here it is, the information, what the prompt we gave, the image it got generated. So can give another example as well. Generate a professional avatar for a cloud services expert. The avatar should look approachable and knowledgeable. Generate. So the image is getting ready. So this is the professional avatar for a cloud service expert. You can see that cloud at the background. So this is a quick demo on how to create a project and hub, and then deploying a chat model from the model catalog, and then using that model in the chat playground. So I hope this demo sounds useful to you, and it's advisable at the end of your training or when you're playing with these models. It's good to delete or clean up your resources which you have created. So if I click on this demo hub, I can see the project internally. See, by default, it created the blob storage, everything. If you don't want, you can create it. So I can create multiple projects here. So demo 2, demo 3, or whatever it is, and I can utilize it. In case if I want to clean up, I can just clean up the hub itself. It will go and clean up all my projects inside it. Okay, so that's all about today's session. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer it.
Thank you, Naveen, for the wonderful session. I think we went over a lot of things. I hope everybody was able to understand it. And I think there was one question in the chat box.
Mhm.
Naveen, I wanted to also share that people here cannot talk on the mic. They
Okay,
need to
okay.
be posting their message.
Mhm.
There is one question by fans. Maybe that can be answered.
Yes. So it's kind of a IDE only. So the cloud-based IDE where you can take all the pre-built models and you can build your AI solution for it. So anyone can log into the portal and use the pre-built model and build your AI solutions. As you could see, many pre-built model, right? So based on your requirement, you can use that. So any other questions? Okay, then let me share my presentation. So hope it's visible. So this is um, so can scan this QR code. So this will give you a self-based learning of Azure AI Studio. So you'll whatever we saw here, right? The project hub, core components, catalogs, everything. It will be explained in this module. So after completing this self-based learning module, you will be given a certification of introduction to the Azure AI Studio. So can scan this QR code. It will take you through the self-based learning. I hope can take this. And this is my LinkedIn handle. If anyone wants to connect with me, you can connect with me for any AI related stuffs or data related and the database related, the architecturing, design, performance tuning, anything we can connect. And if you want, I hope you have taken the screenshot or scanned it. And and the other thing is at the very end, this is the QR code. We can scan it. This whatever the presentation material, it is available in my GitHub repo. So scan this and you can access the presentation material for your reference. Okay, and thank you everyone for your wonderful time on a weekend. And I'm very much impressed your curiosity to learn a new things over a weekend, spending your valuable time with me and listening to me. Much appreciate all your efforts to learn new things. And thank you very much for joining the session.
Thank you, Naveen, also for you to be taking the time on a weekend and sharing your knowledge with everybody. We hope to see you again in the community. And yeah, I hope everybody got the link. And I also shared Naveen's LinkedIn in the chat box. If anybody have questions or wants to show some support, feel free to do so. And again, thank you everyone for joining. And I also shared the certificate link. You can climb it in the chat box. Again, thank you and have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you everyone. Have a nice weekend.